Metahuman, it's just a human-based avatar with the latest advancements in AI or NLPs. It listens by the microphone, so I've plugged in the microphone for it to listen to you, and then it thinks via ChatGPT, and then it gives a response by text-to-speech, and then real-time lip syncing, which wasn't easy to achieve, but I managed to finally do it. So what makes a metahuman? Well, Unreal Engine and Epic Games, the people that created Fortnite, basically created the metahuman, and it's free for anyone to access. You can get in there, you can get a free account, and you can start creating your own metahuman. And you can even create a replica of yourself. So to create a replica of a metahuman, I basically call them soul bots. You can basically get your iPhone, any LiDAR enabled iPhone, which is an iPhone 12 or up, and basically you use Polycam. Download an app called Polycam, and you can scan your face with this Polycam. If you just sort of put your hair back and stuff, it's a bit better, and you wear a cap or something, because it creates a model that then you bring into a 3D modeling software such as Blender, and then you can clean up the model and make sure that it's got your accurate face on there. And then basically once you've cleaned it up within Blender, you can then move it out of Blender into Unreal Engine and export it to the Metahuman Creator, which is an online solution. When you export it, what happens is it takes your face shape, and that's all it uses is your face shape. So all your skin texture's gone, all your hair's gone, any blemishes are gone. And then when you're in Metahuman Creator, then you have to add all that stuff back in, and you basically recreate yourself as you like, and you create a whole basically image of yourself, and it's like fairly realistic. So you can go ahead and do that at any time that you want, and then after you do that, you just write a prompt that you want your AI to be like and how you want it to respond, and away you go. You've pretty much got the core basis of a metahuman with AI. So once I had got all this metahuman and I built it and I got it into the Metahuman Creator, I actually exported it back into Unreal Engine. And so then it was in there, and I thought, okay, this thing needs to listen, needs a set of ears. So it basically needs speech to text. So we used a couple of them to begin with. There's a web speech kit which you can use. We can use that because we've combined this with pixel streaming software. So we do a mixture of basically web and Unreal Engine itself. But if you're just doing Unreal Engine itself and you want to basically have it listen to your speech, there's a free version called Vosk. And Vosk is open source, and you can get drivers and so forth, and you can plug that into Unreal Engine so it can then grab your speech to text. There's other cloud services that offer it, but they cost money, like Azure speech services offer it and so forth, and any other Google and whoever else. And we've managed to plug into them previously, but we've decided against using them because the web speech kit is free. Even though it's been out for over 10 years, it's still beta for some reason. I don't know why. So then we needed brains. When we first initially created this, we put in dialogue flow, and it was very restrictive. And you had to program dialogue flow like from every single response. And then if someone said anything out of those responses that you had programmed in, even if you put 50, 100 of them in, it would just say, I don't know. And it was very rudimentary and quite stupid, really. But it worked, and it was good for, things like making an ordering bot or something like that. If you're just ordering specific items off a menu, it was good to train it under that. But then came along ChatGPT, and we thought, oh, wow, we've got to get ChatGPT into this. And that was a whole new realm, because then when we brought in ChatGPT, we had to do lip syncing and so forth with it. But we've managed to do all that, and we brought in ChatGPT, and we've got that going. And then we thought, well, we want to sort of expand this, and we want to do more with this. So we plugged it into Azure OpenAI, which was fantastic, because then we accessed all the Azure services within there. And now we've actually created a brand new plugin for Azure Cognitive Services. So you can now talk to the avatar, and it will query the cognitive services for you, grab whatever out of documents that you put in there or whatever information you can, and then give you a reply. And we're finding that's getting quite good. We just need to get better at cognitive services and training that up. But once we do, we think we can get the avatar to just be specifically onto a document, and that's all. This is all moving extremely quick. We've been trying to keep up with all this technology and where it's going, but it's just been crazy hard to keep up with all these different LLMs that are currently coming out. So we've basically now are just focusing on Azure services mainly, because we're finding they've been the market leader in this to begin with. So after we put the brains in and we were getting replies back, so we did the speech to text, grabbed that piece of text, we threw it off to an LLM, got the reply from the LLM. We needed speech then. We initially started with that with Amazon, but we found Amazon to be very limited. The voices were terrible, and we had to use external sort of drivers to hook into the Amazon services, which were absolutely awful. So then we looked out Microsoft Azure speech services, and they were fantastic. They were brilliant. They got a stack of voices. You can actually custom configure all those voices through SSML, which is just a little bit of XML that you pass through to the service when you query it. And you can then, it enabled us to do all sorts of different things. It enabled us to add emotion to the voices. So we could instruct the LLM to return an emotion, go, oh, if you think it should be sad, your response, make it sound sad. So she would sound sad. If you're happy, make it sound happy, and she would sound happy, and then we added animations on top of that, and all of a sudden we had a full emotional avatar that you could then talk with, which was really, really cool. We sort of went forward with a lot of that. So we specifically only use Microsoft Azure speech services now just for that. And it also supplies vizemes. When you query their speech services, it replies what mouse shape should be occurring at what given time when you're processing the sound file and you're playing it back. So then that enabled us to then build our own custom lip syncing library around it. With lip syncing, like the lips tell the story. They need to be good lip syncing. If it's not good, the avatar looks disjointed, looks funny. People don't like talking to it as much. They think it's a bit weird. And we're trying to alleviate that as much as possible. So we were actually able to make reasonably decent lip syncing because we had all these vizemes coming in. So we recorded all the different mouse shapes at any particular time, and we had them play back and blended them in nicely. And the lip syncing actually works really well now, and works in conjunction with Azure speech services. There is other paid solutions for lip syncing. There was 2 companies that we found when we were researching it all, and one was Jari Research, and they're still around. They do a few games, a few high-end games, but they're not good. They require pre-processing. So what happens with the pre-processing is you'll talk to the avatar. Already it has to get the speech to text. It has to then go to the language model, get that data, come back, and then with the pre-processing on top of it, with the lip syncing, it used to be like a 15-second delay before it would reply back to you. And everyone's going, what's it saying? What's it doing? It's taking 15 seconds to reply. And it's like, well, it's doing a lot in the background, and it has to do this pre-processing. We looked at speech graphics as well. They're a really nasty company. Don't even bother with them. And I found out with someone else, their speech lip syncing is fantastic. They do AAA games. But if you want to use their solution, you can pay them $12,000 a month. Who's got that? It's ridiculous. And they didn't even want to work with me because they said I was basically infringing on one of their businesses. So they wouldn't even give me their lip syncing software to begin with. There is another one called Metahuman SDK. Avoid it like the plague if you're going to be looking into this. The Metahuman SDK is run out of Russia. All the servers are in Russia. Everything goes through Russia. So as soon as you talk to it and go, hey, give me some lip syncing back, you got to go to the Russian servers that then actually communicate out to Azure or Google. They get it back, and then they get pre-process and throw you the lip syncing back. The lip syncing, I must admit, is good quality, but it again has that pre-processing factor in it and adds an additional 10-second delay, and the fact that you're going through Russian servers, and who knows when they're going to shut it down on everyone. I just wouldn't trust it. So we didn't even bother dealing with them anymore. So we ended up creating our own custom blueprint. And the beauty about our custom blueprint is it's real time. As soon as we get the sound file stream back from Azure speech services, we can start processing and we can start doing the lip syncing in real time. And there is no delay at all with that. And we've been able to bring down the delay of her replying. Most of the time it's roughly 2 to 3 seconds, but sometimes it might veer off to 5 to 10 seconds, depending on OpenAI and how long it takes to generate the answer. That's the main problem. And if anyone here has used OpenAI and ChatGPT, if you type something in, it takes a while to start printing it out. Well, that's what you're waiting for when that happens. So we've instructed it also, the AI, to keep everything down to a minimal, like 50 words or something like that. We don't want any replies much bigger than 50 words. And we find if it's just short, snappy answers, then you don't get much lag or much delay in there, and people are quite acceptable to communicate with these sort of solutions. So it comes into a different mindset as to how you program the LLM and how you want it to respond. Then when we got everything together, we got it all into a package. We had it all into Unreal Engine. We thought, great, this is great, but you have to download an exe file to run this thing, then, which is not very viable. So then we started looking at GPU servers on the cloud, and we found various GPU servers, but Azure was the best one we found. It's by far the fastest GPU servers. I don't know why, because it's the same Tesla video card that they're using, but for some reason they've just got superior servers over Google and Amazon, and I can vouch for that. You have to get an NCAS T4 as a minimum if you're going to spin up a server. And an NCAS T4 minimum will cost you roughly around $800 US a month, maybe a bit less. That's probably a bit exaggerated. It's probably 600 now, but it's still not cheap. It has restrictions where you can only spin up 2 instances of the avatar, because what it does is it starts up 2 Unreal instances and they're running on the GPU. So that means you can only have 2 people access it at any given time, and then it has a waiting wheel until someone drops off the server, and then it'll let them in. With all of this pixel streaming technology, it has matchmaking servers and so forth to enable you to do that. You can also put password protection on your avatar and so forth, which is really good, because we had a bunch of students find our avatar through one of my connections that I knew, and he told all his students over in Sri Lanka, and then I had like 300 people, within an hour hitting my server and just pummeling these avatars because they were using it for English speaking practice. So it was like, oh no. So I had to quickly get in some password protection around it and make sure that they couldn't get through. But we built them a separate solution now that they can access. So that all worked out quite well. The servers, to obtain one of these Azure NCAS T4, I had to beg Microsoft for it. They wouldn't release them initially for me because they were using them to train up all the latest OpenAI instances and getting all those models trained up. So they didn't want to spare any GPU hardware that they had. But I begged and pleaded, and they eventually gave me one in Sydney, which is good. And I've got 3 now in Sydney that I can use, which is fantastic. Microsoft Azure also has an auto scaling solution for it, so it will spin up and take away servers as your traffic increases, and as you know. But we haven't been able to trial that out yet because we haven't got enough servers there and enough input to really test that out. But I'm thinking if you do it anyway and you start spinning up these $800 a month servers and you get 10 of them going, you got a bit of a bill at the end of the month. So you want to sort of avoid doing that if you can. And because of that as well, we've built our own hub, and we've got our own hub built now that we're getting a US manufacturer to push them out, and he's made them relatively small, and we're able to run the whole solution and these pixel streaming server on the edge. So I can just plug it in, and the whole thing's just running here, right here and now, and then it just has needs a small internet connection to do whatever, speech to text and text to speech and the LLM transfers. So it runs quite good, and it's quite a good way of doing it. And then you alleviate the server costs on top of that. Now on future jobs, like we're now starting to pick up and starting to get interest in these avatars. So I can see the future jobs in all of this being definitely AI and NLP and prompt specialists. We're also looking at Azure Cognitive Services. Like everyone that's approaching us for this and everyone that's been asking me about this technology, they've been going, can we put our own document stores in there? We don't want these hallucinations to be happening because it could damage our reputation and so forth. And now we're looking out building systems where we can manage large document stores and push large document stores in there and train them up with the LLM and with cognitive services and so forth, and just have it restricted to answering within that document store only. And we managed to get to the beginning of doing that, but we're now starting to go, oh, we really want specialized help to come in there and help with these cognitive services to be able to manage large document stores and so forth, because we can see that that's going to happen to us very soon. Fashion for avatars. These avatars, people want them clothed. We're not fashion specialists. You look at the way I'm dressed. It's it's not particularly an Armani suit or anything. So there is a couple of great Unreal plugins called Clothes 3D and Draper, and they have real cloth simulation happening. So it looks absolutely beautiful. You can actually create full clothing with the clothing moving the way it should in real life. It does on the avatar as well. So we're looking for people that know Clothes 3D and Draper to be able to help us with that in that respect. There's 3D capture and modeling of objects and environment. Like we can see we're going to have clients going, well, we want the avatar to show our goods. If we're selling this, it's going to show this, and it's going to show this product and this product. So you need to then 3D model those products so we can then bring them into the solution and then bring them out when people ask questions about them and so forth. There's also 3D capture. There's also motion capture as well. We want to do more motion capture. We currently use iClone, which does facial capture, and we managed to make all our facial capture with iClone software, which is fantastic. But we also doing Move AI, and Move AI is for your body motion, and you get 4 cameras basically set up in a room, and you can do full body motion without a suit or anything like that, and then transfer it straight into the avatar. So we're starting to do more motion capture in that regard. But we found you have to clean up the animations a little bit, and there's a little bit of work around doing that after you've captured it. Of course, there's software engineering involved in all this, but it's a lot of it's JavaScript for the server-side code, and we've been customizing the pixel streaming servers, which are all written in JavaScript. So a lot of our code is in JavaScript. We've got less code in Unreal Engine because we use blueprints. Blueprints, as long as you've got knowledge of object-oriented coding, you can pretty much jump into blueprints fairly easily and bring in libraries and start dragging in and then just connecting nodes up. And it's just like, it ends up working out like a pattern. And it's quite nice to build stuff out. And we've been building all our plugins and drivers and so forth for different NLPs with blueprints. Then there's speech-to-text solutions. We're always looking at better speech-to-text solutions and plugging in more different ways of doing speech-to-text. That's always an ongoing thing. And there's text-to-speech solutions as well. That's the biggest thing with lip syncing animations. But Azure is doing a good job, but we could always improve our lip syncing, I think, and make it better if possible. We've tried to sort of reduce our frame rates with the lip syncing as well, and we've been having a few little issues when we reduce frame rates. So we've had to sort of keep the frame rates relatively high on our solutions to enable a smooth looking lip sync to happen. If we could bring those frame rates down, that would be good, because our little hub servers are really churning hard when we're running these things. Those fans are going crazy at times. So there's also all the hardware and server management, and there's a lot of all the server management on Azure and so forth that needs constant sort of looking after and so forth. So that's all the jobs that I believe will be quite sought after in this industry. This is a growing industry. Yeah. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm an AI, so I don't have feelings, but I'm here and ready to chat. How can I assist you today?
I went to the park and saw someone kick a dog. It made me upset. This will show her emotions a little bit. That's what I'm just trying to
That's
demonstrate.
terrible. No creature deserves to be treated that way. It's important to report such incidents to the authorities.
The dog has a really sore leg, and I had to take it to the vet.
Oh, poor thing. I'm glad you were there to help. It's people like you who make a difference in the world.
Yeah, it's all good now, and it's my pet.
That's
Why didn't I turn the phone off?
wonderful news. I'm sure you'll provide a loving home for your new pet. Dogs truly are a human's best friend.
So that's the avatar there. So we can get it to talk any other language. Just excuse my French. It's really bad. Bonjour.
Bonjour, man. Comment puis-je égayer votre journée aujourd'hui?
So that's it, swapping languages, and you can choose any language you want. We have a document mode in here as well. We could do that. Yeah, I think we probably, if we put a translation service in between it, we probably could. Yes. Yeah, I'd imagine so. So that would be a good use case. That would be quite cool. So up here we can change it to document mode, and this feeds a couple of documents. These documents are for the
Document mode enabled.
Oh, you're still speaking French, are you? Can you tell me about the AI Hub?
The AI Summit in Queensland is scheduled to take place on September 22nd, 2023. It is Queensland's biggest artificial intelligence summit, featuring speakers from organizations such as OpenAI, Google's Cloud, LumaCane, and Fast.ai. The summit will cover various topics including the latest tech trends, the impact of AI across industries, and the ethical implications of AI. It will include keynotes, panels, fireside chats, and networking opportunities.
So that was actually hitting documents that I've fed into Azure Cognitive Services, and it will just stay restricted around those documents. Like I can ask it a question outside of the documents, like how far is it to the moon? And
the requested information is not found in the retrieved data. Please try another query or topic.
So that then restricts everything down to that document base, and we can easily plug into any cognitive services. So if anyone here has cognitive services already set up, we can help you out if you want an avatar on the front end and further documents. So, but this just shows
GPT-4 mode enabled.
We can enable any large language model and change a brain to service whatever you like as well. So you're able to change languages, you're able to change brains, you're able to change the avatar look and feels. Soon we'll have a collection of avatars you can flick through, and maybe even the background we'll have, so you can change the backgrounds and so forth. But it's on its way. It's coming, these things. And if you go to solbotics.com, you can connect with me there. Just send an email through on the form there.